Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about a movie this time. This one is The Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero. So both me and Boris liked this movie so much, and do you know, this is one that I haven't seen in a while. I'm aware about it, obviously I've seen it before, but it's one that I don't go back and revisit numerous times. But during the October period, I decided to give it a watch, or a rewatch in this case. So this movie was released in 1968, and it was directed, as I said, by George A. Romero. It was written by him as well, and also written by someone called John A. Russo. So Night of the Living Dead focuses around a woman called Barbara who is visiting I think her deceased father with her brother, and they go up to a cemetery and they pay their respects, they lay a wreath, and then they witness this strange man kind of lurking in the background, that when this man encounters them, he attacks them for some unknown reason. Barbara's brother gets killed in this process, and Barbara escapes, and she finds this what appears to be an abandoned house where she kind of hides in. And then as the film progresses, we find other characters that are introduced as well. The main one is Ben, which you can see on the cover. Ben is kind of a leader type of character. He tries to protect Barbara, and Barbara's wandering around like a zombie herself, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to process things. It takes a while before she even says anything coherently. She's just shifting around, and she understands what's been told of her and what's been asked of her, but she can't really think. So Ben kind of has more intel about what's going on as he's seen a lot more. And pretty much the dead have been rising from their graves and devouring on the flesh and organs of the living. So they decide to board up the house and make it more secure from this threat. And then they discover that they're not alone. There are all these strangers hiding in the basement. And that is Harry and Helen, which are both husband and wife. Harry's the one that is adamant to stay hidden down in the basement or the cellar, because he thinks that it's the safest place in the house. And Helen is his wife, that pretty much does what he says. And I think has more in her. She's more determined and a strong character, but I think she's just trying to put up with Harry and his nonsense, I suppose. And then we have a young couple called Tom and Judy. Pretty much stereotypical young couple. Haven't really got much else to say about that. And this movie is about this group of individuals coming together. They don't know each other, but they have to try to survive this. So this movie was really, really good. And I'm not sure if this is the first ever zombie movie that was ever released. It probably isn't. But I think it's the one that made zombies more well known and more popular. Also, fun fact as well, guys, The zombies in this movie aren't referred to as zombies. I'm pretty sure throughout the whole thing, the word zombie is never even said. But the creatures are referred to as ghouls by the people that go and hunt them. You know, they call them ghouls instead of, zombies. So some of the things that you associate with zombies are in this movie. They are slow moving, they don't speak, they've got very little intelligence, they can be very weak by themselves, but as a group they are stronger, and they are only driven by their hunger for human flesh and organs. I think in some zombie movies it's more established that they eat the brains, that they only are focused on eating the brains and nothing else. But in this one, they are interested in the whole thing. This movie was shot in a really, really beautiful way. I discovered that, or I saw rather, that lighting is a big part of this whole movie and how it's shot and how it's look. And how it looks. The lighting and the shadows are very well used. Music is a big part of this to raise tension, and sound effects and music, and also ambient noises, like when they go outside you can hear the crickets chirping. Although there are a few scenes in the actual house where you can hear the crickets, and it was kind of a weird thing because we're hearing outside noise but we're indoors. It was kind of a weird thing. The acting was okay. Some of them are better than others. Because this was filmed many, many years ago in the 60s, some of the acting can be very over the top and over dramatic. More specifically from Barbara, but I suppose they had to do something, and she had to convey the sense that she lost her brother in this attack and that she is trying to struggle, trying to figure out what's going on. The characters are made aware about what's going on through radio broadcasts and TV transmissions, or the news, basically. The zombies, they are, some of them don't look decayed, some of them look, like normal people, but some of them are more decayed than others, but they are moving all slowly. They shift around and very slowly, and sometimes you see one of them, and then in the next shot you see about 10, and it's really creepy about when they are eating all these obviously make-believe and fake guts and bones, and gnawing on bones and eating flesh. And there's one part where someone's got a hand and they're eating this dead person's hand. And as typical as any zombie movie, it doesn't have a happy ending. And it's a satisfying ending, but it's an ending which doesn't really sugarcoat it, and it's a very sad and somber ending. But overall, I actually liked Night of the Living Dead. When compared to movies nowadays that are in the same subject matter that actually deal with zombies, does it really hold up? Yes and no. But with the effects that we have nowadays, and the storytelling, I think that this doesn't really hold up to them movies. But by itself, this is a classic horror movie. It's a classic zombie movie, and it's a movie that I think that is essential to watch during this spooky time of the year. And I think that a lot of zombie movies are heavily influenced by this movie. And when I was watching this, I was thinking about how easy it was for someone just to get a camera and a group of their mates and just film a movie. Get a script together, do a storyboard, and just make a movie. It's really, really great about when you see something like this, and that it convinces you and it shows you that you don't need to have a massive studio and a massive budget, and you don't have to have all this high-tech equipment. You could just form a crew with your mates and just film a movie wherever you want. As long as you have a good idea, you can do it. And yeah, but I love Night of the Living Dead. Let me know if you have you watched this movie. What did you think about it? And I know that George has got other movies in his zombie series, but I think that Night is where it all started for him. So yeah, that's all I had to say, guys, about the Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero. So with all that out the way, I'll see you in my next video.